Now what I do is I go around and I do workshops on right brain business planning, and that's how I do my planning. So today I'm going to share a little bit about right brain business planning, and we are even going to put together a little plan for yourselves. Some of you may, like you say, you've started a business, but other of you, you've also got an idea of where you're going or where you want to be going, and that's a starting point. That's a vision. So just as we go through today, there are a few guiding principles. And like I said, traditionally, we live in a very left-brain society. So, you were never taught at school to trust your intuition. There is no right or wrong way. So today I ask you, trust your intuition, your gut. There's no right or wrong way. Let whatever come up. Hold the process lightly. Allow things to unfold. Get messy and have fun. So if you want to sit on the floor, I've also got lots of colorful crayons. So that's the guiding principles for today. Left brain, right brain. Who's heard of those terms? Okay, great. Because there's actually an amazing account for those that are interested. A woman by the name of Jill Bolte. She's got one of the highest viewed TED Talks, and she wrote a book and a TED Talk. Have you heard of it? Called A Stroke of Insight. And basically she had a stroke and lost the use of her left brain. And so she took 8 years to heal, and then wrote this book, and it goes around and shares how important it is to bring in our right brain. When she lost the use of her left brain, she had no ability to separate like where I end and you begin. We are all one. So that very much comes from the right brain. She could sense which doctors were kind and caring. She just could feel. So it was very much around intuition. They kept saying to her, your mother's coming to visit. And she didn't know what a mother was, but she sensed the excitement. And this woman just came and curled into bed with her. And so it's very much, the right brain is very much the kind of intuition, sensing, feeling, a big picture thinking. Yeah, so for me it was like, well, if you need funding, you need a business plan. And I didn't need funding, so I wasn't going to write my business plan. But that destroys the whole reason of why we create a business plan. It's really about connecting with our vision and then taking the steps to get there. So these are the building blocks. And these are the building blocks of a traditional business plan as well. And we've done it in a more fun and colorful way. And a lot of the people that have, say, done the Right Brain Business Plan workshop, it's not necessarily that you are going to walk into a bank with your creative, colorful plan, but it's very much aligning the person to their vision and how they're going to get there. And then it can be translated into the traditional plan. So we start off with the highlights, business, vision, and values, connecting to what matters most. Business landscape, aka the SWOT analysis, but it's like, where do I fit in and how do I stand out from the big picture? Getting the word out, marketing, corralling your creative cohorts, your management team, managing the moolah, and then obviously you cannot go, it's all fine to have a business plan, but it's nothing until you put it into action. And when I was tutoring at Tsiba last year, it was quite interesting because they all had to put a business plan together and then go out and do it. And one of the groups was like, no, we can't do anything because we haven't finished our business plan and we're focusing on getting the business plan right. And the other guys hadn't even completed their business plan, but they were so busy that they had like a second order of t-shirts made. So it's this was great. So here are a few examples of right brain business plan. As you can see, these might not resonate with you. I don't know if anybody wants to become write their own storybooks. But these resonate very much for the people that have done it, and that's what the Right Brain Business Plan does. It's really about doing something that feels right, and it looks like you. It feels more you. So if it is engineering or building something, it will be building something that feels like it's your plan. So on the right-hand side, you can see that one is actually from Jennifer Lee. And Jennifer Lee is the author of the book, The Right Brain Business Plan. And she actually had to do an art challenge for a month. So for a month, she only had to do art. And she was just quit and was kind of putting up her business. And that's how this whole program evolved. And it evolved into her writing a book, into her getting licensed facilitators all over the world. She sells kits, the Right Brain kits. So she's really a mentorship program. So she's really diversified one idea into a good business. There you can see a jeweler wrote their vision and values on a piece of jewelry. So it really inspires them to, like, head in their direction. Do what we do, and when we're connected to that, then, when the hard work comes, we don't run the opposite direction because we are connected to why we're doing what we're doing. And I remember when I started this process of coaching, there were days in the beginning that I didn't have any clients, and I was like, that I should just go back and earn a salary, and it was really very challenging. And I had to really connect to why the heck am I actually doing this. So that's also connecting to our vision. So we're going to start off with connecting to our big vision, because it is the foundation, it lays the foundation of our business. It kind of looks at why we do what we do. And it's the big picture of where we want to go. I mean, if we're, I've first got to know where I'm going before I can look at the steps to get there. So in order to do this, we are going to do a quick visualization. So for those that are not used to doing visualizations, just give it a shot. Whatever comes up will come up. If you can't dream it, you can't scheme it. So it starts off with a daydream, night dream, visualization. Just give yourself the chance to kind of imagine what you would like to see happening. So for a moment, we're just going to imagine that it's 2 years from here. And those that have got small company or businesses, whatever, small or large, try and think where you would like to be in 2 years' time. And for those that are not in that space, this is a moment to reflect of where you would like to be in 2 years' time. So if you don't mind, I'm just going to ask you just to close your eyes and take a couple of deep breaths. And it's 2 years from now. And if for some of you 3 or 4 years feels more applicable, then just find a time, 2 to 4 years ahead from today. And it's a work day. And you wake up in the morning with that everything's going my way feeling. Everything's coming right for you feeling. Then you get out of bed and you choose an outfit that feels good to you for your successful day. You then go and do your exercise or have your breakfast, whatever you do on your ideal day. And then you head to your work. Now, work is different for all of you. Where is the place that you work? Is it an office? Is it outdoors? Is it in the city? Is it at home? Where's the place that you're heading for work today? You head into that space, and who's surrounding you? Are you working with cohorts, colleagues, on your own? Have a look around the room and see the people. Okay? Another way is, because, I mean, we're in a classroom, it's like, okay, now think about your future, but it is good to get connected with your vision as to where exactly you want to go so you can get there. So perhaps when you get home or at some point, write a letter to yourself 3 years from now and say, wow, I can't believe I'm sitting in this space. Sometimes just writing it out and look at the people around me and just start to really write it down, some of the things that you'd like to see happening in your life. So when they actually happen, it's like, whoa, how did this happen? That's part of my dream, my vision. Okay, and right brain business planning is also very much about connecting with cohorts, about we are all one, or let's brainstorm, let's make the pie bigger together. So what I want you to do is just take a moment and connect with somebody that you're sitting with, and take a moment to share what came up with you, or what are parts of your big vision as you move forward. I find like connecting with what we do in the longer workshops is we create a collage from our big vision. And it's just amazing how, it's like, oh, we're having to collage, that's not work. But it's when we then share those collages that people are so connected of like, wow, this is actually where I want to go. And then to put it up in their workspace as like a reminder of this is where I'm going is really a good way to connect with their vision. I've still got mine that I do it once a year, but I've still got mine from 2 years ago. Because these things take a lot longer as well. Yeah, so adding a bit of the right brain, there's stuff that we wouldn't usually give ourselves time to do, actually can inspire us to work faster on the left brain side. Yeah. To hear these guys over here as well, working as a team together to be able to share their vision with each other so that each one of them knows what they've got in mind for where their company is going. And I think another important thing is our values, what's important to us as we go along. Because for me, I don't ever want to work in a corporate. That's my style. I want to be able to go to work with jeans. I've got children, I've got small kids, and I want flexibility. I want to have fun. I want to be able to wear pink and that kind of stuff in my workspace. Those are my values. And it's important that where I find work is a space that allows me to be who I am. And that's why our values are so important. And those are personal values. So even if you're looking for a job, those values that are important to you, that company, their values align to your values. And obviously also the values of your company, that's the way how your values is that's how people start to see you. So if integrity is something that's like a heightened, more important value of your company, that's how people start to see you. That's your priority. So part of the vision is also about connecting with your values and what we call our passion and purpose proclamation, which is actually your mission statement. But it's like what has value, or what are you passionate about, and what do you want to do about it? And that's why, kind of this, don't ask what the world needs. It's not my mission statement, but that's what I use as the core of my business. That's also why I do what I do. So yeah, you can take a few moments to, you've done notes, but you can just take a few moments to write the vision and values, which I think a lot of you did, into your little right brain business plan. Because then we move on to perfect customers, the marketing. Who enjoys marketing? Yeah, it's great. So a large part of you enjoy it, and I think you may agree that, some people get intimidated, and I think it's because they think, you got to stand on a stage and shout at everybody, I sell ramen margarine. But when you actually realize exactly who your target, who you want to talk about, who you want to talk to, and what you want to say to them, it's actually just about relationship building and actually connecting with the people. And I think even for those going to a company, marketing yourself is the big step. So there's, in the longer workshops, we create perfect customer cards. And that's basically, it's like creating an avatar of your perfect customer. Where, what keeps them awake at night? What car do they drive? Where do they live? Besides the basic, male, female, what is it that they want for their life? How can you make their life better? So really, getting into the shoes of your perfect customer helps you understand them. And I've created a few customer cards for my business, and every so often I look at my perfect customer card and kind of connect with them. But I think there's 3 important questions to ask in terms of the marketing. And the first one is what do you want to achieve by doing your marketing? So that's a goal that you can add and take a moment to write down what do you want to achieve by doing the marketing. Is it, for me, like getting, and it can be a small goal or it could be a larger goal. So one could be 10 people at my next workshop. That's like a marketing goal, and then I can work backwards as to what I need to do. A larger goal would be to, to increase my brand by, placing adverts or whatever it is so brand awareness, growing my brand, getting exposure out there. So once you've got that, like, what do I want to achieve by doing my marketing? The second question is, well, who do I want to target? Who is my ideal customer? Who is my ideal customer? And I'd like you to take a moment to write down a couple of your ideal customers. Maybe give them a name. I've got one that's the mompreneur. She's doing this and she's doing that. So just for a moment, write down, give her a name, give it a name, give it a personality. Where does that person hang out? What do they do? What do they love? Create a little bit of a personality around one of your target markets. And for those that are going into jobs, you might want to use this as to describe the type of ideal company that you'd like to work with. So that when you actually do find them, you know that that's the kind of company you want to work with. Because then we move on to perfect customers, the marketing. Who enjoys marketing? Yeah, it's great. So a large part of you enjoy it. And I think you may agree that, some people get intimidated, and I think it's because they think, you got to stand on a stage and shout at everybody, I sell ramen margarine. But when you actually realize exactly who you want to talk about, who you want to talk to, and what you want to say to them, it's actually just about relationship building and actually connecting with the people. And I think even for those going to a company, marketing yourself is the big step. So there's, in the longer workshops, we create like perfect customer cards. And that's basically, it's like creating an avatar of your perfect customer. Like what keeps them awake at night? What car do they drive? Where do they live? Besides the basic, male, female, what is it that they want for their life? How can you make their life better? So really, getting into the shoes of your perfect customer helps you understand them. And I've created a few customer cards for my business, and every so often I look at my perfect customer card and kind of connect with them. But I think there's 3 important questions to ask in terms of the marketing. And the first one is what do you want to achieve by doing your marketing? So that's a goal that you can add and take a moment to write down what do you want to achieve by doing the marketing. Is it, for me, getting, and it can be a small goal or it could be a larger goal. So one could be 10 people at my next workshop. That's like a marketing goal, and then I can work backwards as to what I need to do. A larger goal would be to, to increase my brand by, placing adverts or whatever it is so brand awareness, growing my brand, getting exposure out there. So once you've got that, what do I want to achieve by doing my marketing? The second question is, well, who do I want to target? Who is my ideal customer? Who is my ideal customer? And I'd like you to take a moment to write down a couple of your ideal customers. Maybe give them a name. I've got one that's the mompreneur. She's doing this and she's doing that. So just for a moment, write down, give her a name, give it a name, give it a personality. Where does that person hang out? What do they do? What do they love? Create a little bit of a personality around one of your target markets. And for those that are going into jobs, you might want to use this as to describe the type of ideal company that you'd like to work with. So that when you actually do find them, you know that that's the kind of company you want to work with. I think, so once we know what do we want to achieve by doing our marketing, because If we don't know what we want to achieve, then marketing can actually be quite a waste of money, doing so much marketing, but we don't actually have any goals in place. So it's like, what do I want to achieve by doing my marketing? Who do I want to talk to? Who's my ideal customer? And then how am I going to talk to them? Or what marketing mediums can I use to approach them? So it's very different if it's somebody sitting in an office, like the example she's done over there, to somebody who's more adventurous. They'll be hanging out in different places, they'll be reading different newspapers, they'll be... So, and for me, I always say that my marketing sometimes is actually, one of my large target markets is moms that have quit their full-time jobs to be flexible around the children. I guess that's me as well. And a lot of them, I'll find them at my kids' birthday parties. So for me, actually just going to a birthday party and connecting with these people is kind of doing my marketing. So it's like, how do we know which rooms to be in to connect with our target market? And then it's like, keep it simple. Keep it simple. This is actually my business plan. So do not walk into a bank with your right brain business plan. But for me, it's connected me with my vision of where I want to go and how I want to get there. There's my vision. This is like what's important for me. And in these folders are a lot of the action steps of how I'm going to get there. So for somebody who doesn't like writing business plan, I'm a lot more connected now. And now if you said to me, okay, put it in words, I'm a lot more easier to put it in words. Or what I can do is give it to somebody else. But often what we do is we outsource our business planning, but without being clear ourselves of what exactly we want. So it's almost like the step before writing the traditional business plan, connecting with the vision, and then getting there. So I don't actually have my perfect customer cards, but there's just one of them, one of my perfect customers. Well, it's not necessarily about creating one perfect customer card, but perhaps groups, and how you define it is up to you. You could create a couple of your ideal clients. If I look at the right brain business plan approach, the mompreneurs is one of my ideal clients, but it's not the only one of my ideal clients. So creating various groups, and it's just more of a personality around them, helps you connect with them and make sure that marketing materials align to their needs, which is very different to how you may write marketing material to one of the other target markets. So just getting clearer on those different personalities helps you talk in a way that they'll understand you. Does it make sense? Well, do you know where you want to go?
Not entirely, so I'm going to let my intuition take me there, per se.
Great. So I think this is more targeted at people that have a business idea or have an idea of where they want to go. And then it's about using the steps to get there. And this is not like left brain bashing or right brain is best. It's actually just about in a world that we are traditionally, okay, let's plan, let's get analytical, let's write notes. It's more like around bringing a bit of creativity and the intuition into that process. So, I mean, I've worked for amazing visionaries like Jody Orfruchtig. I don't know if any of you know, he runs, they started Daddy Longlegs, Granddaddy, Old Mac Daddy. They've got the biscuit mill. And they're also starting actually a Daddy-O incubator program. But for me, he's one of my entrepreneur gurus, because he is like left brain and right brain. He has a vision of where he wants to go. He's like, right. And I remember talking to him right in the beginning. They only had Daddy Longlegs, and he's like, yeah, I've got this idea. I want to create this trailer park, in the forest somewhere. And he just gave me this crazy idea. And most people would be like, yeah, whatever, or would actually they have thousands of ideas and then they just drop it. Whereas he had this vision of where he wanted to go, and he didn't let anything get in the way. And for me, that's what really makes an entrepreneur. He's connected to their vision and why they want to get there, what they're wanting to do. And then it's just about the steps to get there. So, I guess there are times in our life where we don't really know where we want to go because we're a student and we just actually need some time out, and I just need to, and maybe you do know, maybe you need to play, maybe you just want to go out and have fun and play and not take work so seriously. You will know, but I can resonate with that. And so it's when you actually when you do become clearer of what you want to do, and you can create a vision around it, and then and that's the right brain thinking, and then use the left brain to actually get there. You know, business planning offers like, I've got this business and this is what I need to do, and this is, whereas this, for me, the right brain approach is adding your intuition, your like, what do you want to do with your life? Like, what's important to you? Like, you know, screw the investments, and not screw them for everybody, but it's just not working for me. And this is, I want to do work that's more in line with who I am and where I want to go in my life. And sometimes we don't do that because we taught you need to become a doctor, and this is the way. And that's what I do with my coaching, like helping people to find what makes them come alive, as opposed to, and that's connecting. Just going into the coaching world, but with your essential self, your essence, who you want to do, the work that, like, you know, when you look up and you think, wow, like, I can't believe the whole day's gone past and it hasn't even felt like work. How do we connect with that as opposed to the social self, which is the, you know, I'm 25 years old now, I'm supposed to be here, I'm 32, I should be married, I'm 38, I should actually have a job by now. You know, this like social self where, you know, I'm what's expected of us in society, which is not a bad thing to do, but it's like, who's leading who? If we are connected with our essential self, like we are thriving, our essence is, yes, I'm loving what I'm doing, then we need to go, you know, if I'm like, oh, I'd love to I can't just like, because I'm an artist and I want to paint the town red, and like I'm just going to take my clothes off and paint the town red. I have to, just because my essential self is saying, yes, that's what I need to do. I need to follow certain rules and like become an artist or whatever it is. Do you understand what I mean? As opposed to like led by our social self, we do that because that's what our parents did, that's what our dad expects from us, that's what the world expects for us. So both are important, but it's led by the essential self. And now I'm going blah, blah, blah. And that's the budgeting. And for you, most of you are accounting, so my like very tactile pink is and green kind of map you may be a little bit more advanced or do it differently. But we start off actually doing the money section by looking at our beliefs around money. And I do we do in our longer workshops, we look at some of our limiting beliefs around money, and we turn those into more empowering beliefs, so that when we start our budgeting, we do it from a more empowering place. And then in the workshops, we do this kind of exercise where I remember the whole idea of writing a budget on an Excel spreadsheet, even though I knew Excel, just totally intimidated me. But here we just write, it's just a tactile exercise of writing all our costs in pink and all our, you know, income in green and costs in red. And it's, you know, just to like brain dump. It's a brain dump and then a prioritizing, because some things, you know, actually are nice ideas but won't bring in a lot of money, so we can put those rather at the bottom, or decide how we're going to prioritize them ourselves. So maybe for you guys, maybe you just want to set one goal of how much moolah you do want to make in 2013 or beyond. Because it's, you know, it's a good thing to add to your plan. Even for those that aren't, you know, going for a job or whatever it is, being clearer around the kind of money you want to earn will help you to find the company that's willing to pay that. So that's a little bit about being clearer around our money goals. And, you know, I run this workshop, you know, for me it's actually quite intimidating to stand here because I'm not used to doing this with accounting like university students. I do this a lot, like I said, most of the people that come to my workshops are women. I had a few men, but there are small business people with either they're following the work that they love, you know, from graphic designers to interior decorators to photographers. Those are the kind of people that actually usually come to my workshop. So they haven't done the first thing about like accounting at varsity for 4 years. But sometimes just using pink and green sticky notes can help us brain dump, which is not such a bad thing. Okay, and this is where the rubber meets the road. And like I said, a plan ain't like anything until you actually start to action it. So maybe you want to, with your vision in mind of what you want to do, and having looked at some of the people that you want to target, some of the money that you want to make, you know, what are a couple of the action steps that you can take? Action planning. Obviously, there are very different ways of planning, and you might have your preferred ways, but it's also about thinking about planning that in ways that resonates with you. So this is just a mind map. Who uses mind maps? Yeah, okay. So, and this is another thing that I like, because I often find I've got so many to-do lists, and some of them are in my personal life and some of them are my work. So I put them down onto sticky notes, and it could be around, you know, my family, my work, this, that, and I just dump them onto sticky notes, and then I can start, and sometimes I feel overwhelmed because I've got so much on my plate. But when I actually divide it into, okay, well, we've got January, February, March, and April, I don't really need to think about that until April, and I can start then allocating those to-do lists into the different months, and then it's more of a, okay, I only need to think about that then. So I'm sure around studying your studying plans, this is some of the techniques that you would use, or maybe just like a week before or something like that. Because this is about looking at things from a different perspective. So sometimes the universe gives us a message, like in the shape of a cutting in a glass jar. And it's just about sometimes looking at something from a different perspective. So I want you just to look at what you've got and see what's possible from this perspective as you go forward with your ideas or your vision. And what ideas does that spark for your business or your way forward? Who would like to share? Great. So thank you. So I hope it gives you some time. And sometimes when we get stuck in our way, it's just actually good to take a metaphor, cut out something in the magazine or pick up a flower or something and try and see your issue or your stuckness from a different perspective. And so I also wanted you to leave on a sweet note, even if you didn't enjoy it today. So please grab a sweet on your way out. And another thing she brings into her book, because I do have books, if anybody does want to get a copy of the Right Brain Business Plan, it's, I said there were 200, but because JD says it's all students, they're 180 Rand. If anybody's interested, you can let me know. But in there, she writes left brain boosters and right brain chill pills. So whenever, left brain chill pills and right brain boosters. And whenever when the left brain's like, oh, I've got to think, then you just take a chill pill, or when you need some inspiration, you take a right brain booster, and she like gives little tips along the way. So yeah, thanks a lot.